Hello YouTube, welcome back to Kind Heart Homestead. In this video you'll see me prep my slab for construction, and I'm also going to pick up the first batch of lumber and start the build. So stick around and I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks.
Are you alive? Or just breathing? 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing?
I have a grinder with a bunch of metal cutoff wheels. I didn't buy it specifically for this. I just happened to have those on hand, and the concrete cured before I could do a wet cut for expansion. So I'm gonna snap a line here, and then I'm gonna experiment with a cutoff wheel.
Then I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I got.
Concrete's going to crack no matter what, either due to expansion, contraction, or just settling. So doing a saw cut, or if you have the opportunity when it's wet to put a wet cut in there, you're going to guide the cracks into a place that's more intentional and more pleasing to the eye.
Could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing?
So I know metal cutoff blades aren't designed to be used in concrete. There's masonry products for that. But since I had these on hand from Harbor Freight, I figured I would just use them up because since I'm done cutting rebar, I don't really have any use for them. Basically, I make one pass to score over the chalk line, and then I have to replace the blade already because of how ground down it gets, and then I make a deeper pass with a fresh blade. And then I repeat that process for each of the lines.
I'll go all night if that's just what I got. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive?
Welcome back YouTube to Kind Heart Homestead. I'm here in our off-grid property in the mountains of Virginia. You can see in the background here is the slab that got poured last time I was up here. It's not perfect. I have no experience doing that, but it's only a shed. It's gonna work well for its intended purpose. I just hope that the plumbing is all in the right spot. Anyway, I have some stuff to prepare and set up before I start bringing lumber here to do framing. This is a pretty small scaffold, but it was on clearance at Lowe's. Very cheap, and not only was it on clearance, but they had a pile of them just sitting on a pallet. I guess they didn't have any room in the store for it anymore. They're just trying to get rid of them. So it had like a handwritten price marked down significantly. And I figured with doing framing and some drywall work coming up, it would be nice to have something like this that I can roll around a bit easier than a ladder. So throughout this video, you'll probably see me revealing some new tools. Feel free to leave comments down in the comment section if you have questions about what products I ended up using. But this is my first time using a lot of these sorts of tools, so you can learn as I do how they end up working. Well, it's the next morning. I had to drive 45 minutes to the nearest Lowe's because I'd like to stock up on all the lumber that I need for this solar shed project. As you can see behind me, the Lowe's rental pickup truck is here. It's first come, first serve. That's one of the reasons I came early. The problem is it's gonna take me probably an hour to pick through all the lumber that I want. The reason I didn't have this simply ordered and delivered is because I've heard that the big box stores will not prioritize good lumber. Especially if you're ordering maybe like 80 studs. They're just gonna grab the whole pack and put it on the truck. I'm going to pick through every single stud, make sure that there's not significant crowning and cupping, things like that. If this truck gets rented, I'll just stick around and wait till the U-Haul place is open and just rent a U-Haul. But I think it would be a lot cheaper to get this Lowe's pickup truck, so we'll just see how it goes.
Find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Well, after 9 hours, I finally transported the lumber from Lowe's all the way here to our property up on the mountaintop. I had to go down there, handpick all of my lumber, rent a U-Haul, load the lumber, bring the U-Haul way up here, which was like an hour away, unload it myself without the help of the forklift like I had at Lowe's. Then bring the U-Haul all the way back, plan around lunch, and then bring my Prius back up here. So as you can see, the lumber's all staged. I tried not to clutter the slab too much just in case I want to use it as a flat surface. But I have my grinder here. I want to go around and touch up some of the concrete where the bottom plate's gonna sit, just to make sure it's reasonably flat. I'm not gonna take this across the entire slab, just the perimeter. And so I'm gonna mask up, do that now, and then I'm gonna get started on the bottom plates.
Do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away. As you fade away.
Alright, so here's the plan. My building is 12 feet wide, so I bought a 12-foot bottom plate to span the width of the building. But I have to cut it shorter because I'm recessing all of the framing 7/16 of an inch from each side. That's because I have 7/16 thick sheathing, and I want the sheathing to run flush with the slab so I can seal it. Basically what I'm gonna do is drill some holes so that my anchor bolts will go up through the bottom plate. And then I have a pretty beefy square washer. And then I have a washer and a nut that came with these anchor bolts. So I'm gonna put those on, and this foam is gonna go underneath just as a basic seal. My understanding is this doesn't really do that much, but I'm going to seal the sheathing to the slab, so that should prevent bugs and moisture from getting into the building. So here's my plan for cutting holes in this bottom plate. I have this sitting on my string line, and then I have my speed square where I can indicate both sides of the bolt. So that marks it left to right, but now I need the depth. So I measured the distance from this side of the plate, which is where the chalk line is, to the bolt, and then I measured that appropriately from the side of the wood. So this is a 1/2 inch bolt, and 1/2 inch is the same as 4/8. And I decided to go up to a 5/8 inch just in case there's any sort of crookedness to this bolt. That way it'll slide in a bit easier. I know you're not supposed to go too big, but I don't remember what the formula is for code. So I want to go as close as I can to the size of the bolt. So I'm going to repeat this and then try to get this plate installed.
Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets but if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know.
Trying to get an early start this morning. It's about 8 o'clock, 59 degrees, so it's kind of chilly, but I'll warm up pretty soon. But everything's completely soaked from the dew. I have to wear my big boots, and hopefully I can pick around lumber to try to get the dry stuff. But my objective today is to complete the bottom plates. These long sides are too large to have a continuous bottom plate. So that's why there's 2 anchor bolts so close together right in the middle. That's where the seam is going to be. I need to determine how long to cut those boards, get them in place with the foam, bolt them down, and then I can start with my vertical studs. I have a huge pile here of about 80, I guess you call them stud length studs. They're 93 inches instead of 96, which would be full 8 feet. 93 because once you account for the bottom plate and a double top plate, it evens out to have an 8-foot ceiling for drywall purposes. I have 3 varieties of nails. I was trying to save some money by going with Metabo, but my store didn't have a lot of them, so I had to go with Pass Load for the rest. I have galvanized nails for anywhere that touches pressure treated lumber or sees any sort of weather. So 2 inch for the sheathing, 3 1/4 inch for studs into the pressure treated bottom plate. I've heard that if you use regular nails on a pressure treated board, they'll corrode over time. So I have big boxes of each of these. And then to finish that out, I have 3 1/4 inch just regular framing nails, nothing special about them being treated, so they're not galvanized. So I'll keep these on me. I'm all suited up and I'm ready to start.
Which has determined your fate. I've never seen so clear. I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here. The sound of deafening fear. You don't die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble. K-N-I-F-E right in your side. You will never see me coming. You don't die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble. K-N-I-F-E right in your side. You will never see me. My energy is next level, so damn you better be careful. I got an angel and devil, he stabs me straight in the temple. I'm ready to be a rebel, I've got a lot of potential hidden inside of this vessel. That shit is so exponential. I need a first class ticket to the top, no limit. I don't play no gimmicks, I'ma take you to the clinic. If you want a taste, come at me and you will be...
I need to try to knock out as much as I can today because I'm heading back to South Carolina tomorrow. As you can see behind me, I have the bottom plates fully secured. I could probably go back later with a socket wrench and torque everything down a bit tighter, but I tightened everything with channel lock pliers and that's good enough for now. What I'm gonna do for these studs is toenail them, which means diagonal nails going in from the sides into the bottom plate. Usually professionals will pre-build their wall on a flat surface, make it square, sheath it to keep it square, and then multiple people or a machine will lift the wall up into place. And that's obviously the best way to do it if you have a flat surface. For me, my slab's not perfect, and I don't have a machine or a partner to help me lift up a wall anyway. So I'm gonna try to probably do the corners first because that'll have a 2x4 stud attached to another 2x4 stud. I guess you could say perpendicular, and that'll allow them to stand up a bit better, and then I can brace them, do whatever I need to do just to measure and keep those straight up. And then I'll probably lay the top plates down, cut them the exact length that the bottom plates are, and I'll trace the lines for the 16 inches on center studs. That way the top and the bottom of the stud will be secured in the same spacing. All right, now I'm gonna cut the top plates for the skinny sides to length.
Which has determined your fate. I've never seen so clear. I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here. The sound of deafening fear. You don't die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble. K-N-I-F-E right in your side. You will never see me coming. You don't die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble. K-N-I-F-E right in your side. You will never see me. My energy is next level, so damn you better be careful. I got an angel and devil, he stabs me straight in the temple. I'm ready to be a rebel, I've got a lot of potential hidden inside of this vessel. That shit is so exponential.
Usually when you frame your walls, before you secure the bottom plate, you cut the bottom and the top plate to the exact same length. You lay them next to each other, touching each other, so that one square can go across both boards. So when you draw your lines, they're automatically transferred to both. That way when you put your studs up, when you secure them to the top and the bottom with nails, they have the exact distance. There's no error. But since I had already secured my bottom plates, they're kind of in the way for me to do that technique. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just using a framing tape measure across the top and the bottom independently, and I'm using the framing marks that they have on the tape measure. If you look at a nicer tape measure, you'll see that every 16 inches it has like a special shape or a different colored font, something like that. Let me show you what I mean. So this tape measure is kind of old, but you can see here 16, there's a red square around it. 32, there's also a little red square around it. But here's what I'm doing. I'm drawing a line that represents one side of the stud, then I'm drawing an X where the stud will sit. That X won't be visible once the board gets placed on it. Another way to do it is to measure 1.5 inches and draw another line. But an X is a bit faster because you don't have to measure. And there's not really any reason to measure 1.5 inches because every stud is 1.5 inches. But as you can see here, when I hook the tape measure, 16 inches isn't aligned with the line. What's up with that? Well, it's because I offset by 7/16 and then I offset by another 3/4 because the first stud does not get centered with the sheathing. So obviously there's some risk in this method because I'm measuring the top and the bottom independently. If for some reason I started at the wrong point with one of them, then those two lines would not be exactly top and bottom aligned. Let me put in the first stud and I'll use the level to see if it's actually plumb. And it's perfect. So now I'm ready to nail that off, and that proves that my lines are the same. But I'll continue to use the level with each stud just to make sure.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling, I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. year ago.
All right, well, I just concluded a full day of construction. I was very productive. Basically, I've done most of the sheathing for the walls. Obviously, I left a gap to get in. I don't have my doors yet. For the long walls, I fully framed them out 16 inches on center. So the zip sheathing is supposed to act as a house wrap. I guess you could call it a vapor barrier once everything's sealed. And I haven't started sealing yet because I still have a lot of sheathing to do. Obviously, there's no roof, so I don't really want to seal everything up yet. I want to wait until I can get the rafters up there, get some more sheathing up top, and then I can seal everything with the zip tape or the zip. I have sausage tube caulking, and that's how I'm going to seal the zip to the concrete, just to prevent anything from getting in down there. I already have the sill gasket. It's just a pretty cheap styrofoam roll, and I've heard those don't really do much. I did it because it's cheap, but I do plan to seal it from the outside, and maybe I can put a bead of caulking along the 2x4 bottom plate on the inside to seal it to the concrete. It would all be covered by trim anyway. There's probably going to be like an inch, maybe less, gap between the drywall and the concrete. Obviously, you don't want to touch the concrete with the drywall because it can wick moisture up. That's it for this trip. It's dinner time now. I know that once I sit down and relax and start eating, I'm going to be pretty sore. So I'm starting to clean up now. You can see I hung up the broom. I'm just going to leave that in here till the next trip. I need to get all the tools put away today, sweep everything, just so rainstorms don't get mud everywhere. There's just a bunch of dust and sawdust, things like that. So I'm going to get all that out of here. The lumber is just going to stay where it is until I can get up here in a few more days. Maybe next week I can get back here. In the morning, I just want to pack up and get going. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching me frame this out and getting some of the sheathing on. Please subscribe and click that bell-shaped icon so you'll be notified about future installments to this series. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.